Got some serious inclines that are coming on. They know, like, they're there and they're in themselves, and I think that's going to be the toughest point is, just knowing you've got that much more to do. You're only halfway there. Your knee can be aching. You're hungry. All these sorts of things. So it's basically like doing a marathon, right? It's they're physically fit to do it. They can accomplish it. At that point, it all becomes mental. And they haven't had any regimented mental training for it, but with everything that each of them have accomplished in their lives, I think they're mentally prepared for doing it. But it's not so much a certain pass that's going to be hard. It's going to be the middle pack of the days, and it's going to be more mentally challenging than anything. Physically, they're prepared.
Physically prepared or not, Nancy finds a quick neck rub provides welcome relief. Before getting back on the road, she talks with a Vancouver Island resident whose grandson is autistic.
He's Asperger. He's high functioning.
Oh, okay.
But he required heavy-duty speech therapy when he was younger. And see, I can pay for that, but there's a lot of low-income families that can't. Exactly. Believe it or not, if she were to even apply into the Calgary Treatment Center, they're little or no cost, and they'll not only provide speech therapy, they'll be able to provide any sort of counseling, psychological, anything, any support that they need.
On the island.
Which island?
Vancouver Island.
Ah. Yeah. For autism. They have people that have flown in from Bangladesh to go to this center. And actually, it's pretty good. They literally try to help every person that they possibly can. When I first was choosing what charity or which autism society to kind of work with, and there was a child that couldn't even sleep on a bed, couldn't be in a room with pictures on the wall. It just freaked him out. And now not only can he deal with the pictures, but he sleeps in a bed, right? And that's only over a course of 6 months. Like, these people are so highly trained and everything, and it's not a hospice environment. It's a home, right? It's really comfortable. It's a phenomenal place. It'll bring a tear to your eyes.
There's no help out there for moms.
Single parents.
Yeah. Yeah. No help whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yet. So, yeah, that's what I'd like to see here in BC. I'd like to see more government involvement and more knowledge about autism, because people do not understand what it's all about. So, things like this is what we need more of here in British Columbia.
The encounter is similar to many throughout the ride. Personal stories from complete strangers, usually all saying the same thing. Beyond the direct effects of autism on one of their children or grandchild or niece or nephew, there is the often lonely battle to get the people who are elected to help to do their jobs. The mystery behind the cause or causes of autism seems to cloud the minds and hearts of elected officials everywhere.
Well, we're going to roll along some lakes, some rivers, and I don't think we're going to be cranking it up too many hills. So when we hit the hills, you don't really have a chance to look around and observe. So it's a little bit funner for us to do these flatter stretches, and then you can check out the pastures and the rolling streams and whatnot.
The road out of Salmon Arm first swings north before turning west again at the edge of Shuswap Lake. Highway 1 then parallels Monte Creek for kilometer after kilometer. Along the way, the riders are constantly reminded of the danger of sharing the road with big rigs piloted by tired drivers facing their own deadlines. Slowly, the green forest of the mountains begins to give way to the desert-like scrub brush as the riders approach the interior plateau of British Columbia and the city of Kamloops. Day 5 is ending. Vancouver is now just 2 days away. Day 6 begins with all the bright promise only a perfect sunrise can bring. The road signs say it all. Vancouver is now within reach, and no doubt each rider is beginning to sense that the end is near. Despite leaving together, the team quickly breaks into 2 units. Brad and Pat are able to power ahead, leaving Nancy and the support RV behind. Everyone knows, everyone has planned for this day. If any part of the journey is going to present a challenge, it will be Day 6. The road rises constantly off the interior plateau of British Columbia, snaking higher into the foothills leading to the Pacific Ranges and the Coast Mountains. The riders will leave the Trans-Canada Highway, which turns north outside of Kamloops, and ride south on Highway 5, usually just called the Coquihalla. Nancy is clearly struggling early in the ride. Comparing the rise and fall of her legs as a gauge of the energy she's using, Nancy is putting out 1/3 less power than Brad or Pat, who seem to climb effortlessly up these early hills. The Coquihalla is a lonely stretch of highway. There are only 3 populated areas along its 210-kilometer length between Kamloops and tonight's destination of the aptly named Hope. Gas stations between the cities are non-existent, and cell phone service is, at best, hit or miss. This isn't a road to fool with when you're traveling by car, let alone by bike. Between the rush of occasional cars and tractor-trailers, this is a peaceful place. A graceful landscape that unfolds gently in sloping hills decorated by wildflowers. The first signs of mountain forests appear as the road rises higher. But the rise is relentless, and after waiting at one point for Nancy to catch up, Brad and Pat again put a considerable distance between themselves and Nancy and the RV. Back at the end of day 1, Nancy said there will be pain. This is what she meant.
We're 35 kilometers out of Kamloops, and we just got up this hill, and Nancy stopped and came into the RV and sat down, and I said her knee really hurt. I looked at it, and so I'm not a doctor, but I just did compared the 2 knees, and inside her right knee is sensitive to the touch, to the point where if you just touch it, it looks like, or it feels to her like there's knives going in. So I think that, I'm not a doctor, but if it was my brother, I'd say that you've blown an MCL or an ACL. In the anterior cruciate ligament, it runs inside of your knee. So I was watching her stride, and she had her knee going in a lot to compensate for her quads, and I think that hill she's had a lot of drugs in her, so she's probably not feeling the pain as much as her body's telling it is there. But she'll have to get checked out.
For the past 6 days, we've been tested quite a bit. Tested by weather, tested by hills, tested by patients. But we've gotten this far, and I feel that we've all been getting stronger. Our bodies are building muscles, but definitely the weak link is the weak knee, and I think it just blew. She told me she heard a pop, and I don't think that's good. I think that means check it out. Let's go into Merit and get a medical opinion on this. I don't feel comfortable being as a team member with her getting back on that bike and really causing some damage. As a team member and as a friend, I think that the best thing to do would be to just have it looked at medically.
We're going to be in Vancouver tomorrow, so let's just see. You got to remember, the good thing is it's not overly swelling. It's not ballooning out. And the fact that it's not ballooning out means that it's probably still okay for the most part. It's just either overly strained or a torn ligament or something. So this is why headwinds are bad. I thought you were joking yesterday when you saw something sticking out of it. I didn't. It was hurting yesterday after the escort, but I just didn't care. I iced it last night pretty good.
No, I pointed it out to Joel and Pat, and I said it just looks abnormal.
No, it's an abnormal knee, but the most important thing is to keep the Western ride going.
We still got Pat and I feeling relatively okay. We've got our aches and pains, but I think we're actually stronger riders today than we were 6 days ago. And just to keep it 3 abreast, if this is the situation that's evolving, then Sam can saddle up with us and we'll continue on.
That was really close.
I do not want to see you, with one leg for the rest of your life. You've got your cell phone. we'll give you updates.
There has always been a plan B. Sam Masterton, who has been behind the wheel of the RV since day one, will substitute for Nancy, so that the idea of 3 riders making the Western ride together remains intact. He'll be replaced by the camera car driver, Joel Smith. The first stop is the hospital in Merritt, conveniently placed almost exactly midway between Kamloops and Hope.
I'm on the top of the Coquihalla.
Nancy's cell phone is able to get through to her friend Dave in Calgary.
We climbed all morning. We got to the top. And, yeah, the boys said that they won't continue riding unless I go to the hospital because I just wanted to wait and see what it would do after a while. No, it's not. I'm gonna go there. No, yeah, I do. And I do need a new knee, and this is not the end of it, and I'm gonna get back on that bike again, and I don't care if the boys want to mutiny on me or not. I know they're doing it because they care, but they're being oversensitive about it. Merritt, we're only a few kilometers out of Merritt. So hopefully I'm only missing a few kilometers of this ride, and hopefully the doctors will just take one look at it and just say it's overextended or something, and then shoot me up with some kind of funky drug that I've never had before, and and I'm gonna get back on the bike. But Sam's taking my place right now, so the ride is still going on.
Nancy, though hobbling, is relieved to be leaving the hospital.
But he said there's absolutely no way I could do any more hills. The hills are what's doing it.
Yeah.
But I can do Hope to Vancouver because it's flat. And they said if there's any big hills, use the spare rider, but that was the deal. And he said on camera, Nancy can't do the Coquihalla. It would be stupid, but she can do Hope to Vancouver. Oh!
A friend of Nancy's, Rick Skog, on his way back to Calgary, has spotted the RV in Merritt and has decided to make it safer by insisting they use more reflective tape and by buying and helping to install a couple of rotating beacons. The brief stop allows everyone to have a break before the ride for autism continues. Sam is somewhat protected between Brad and Pat, and the 3 riders quickly become a single unit as they rejoin traffic heading west out of Merritt. While the ride into Merritt was mostly downhill for Sam, the city lies in a valley, and just outside of town the Coquihalla rises again, providing the first real test of Sam's ability to keep pace with the other riders.
You're not going to climb to the top in one go.
Yeah.
Do your own pace because if you try to do somebody else's pace at a different speed than what you're comfortable with, you're just burning yourself out slowly.
I think the only transition I've found difficult is just going from sitting in an RV to like full on up a hill in 30 degrees.
Oh yeah, totally.
It's kind of like run out of gas or something.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? All right.
The delays have conspired to put the team seriously behind schedule. As the afternoon begins to draw to a close, the sun begins to set behind the mountains and shadows grow long. It is nearly dark when they hit the toll plaza near the summit of the Coquihalla, but the riders, determined to go as far as they can, continue to ride into darkness. Keeping as safe a distance as possible, the camera car helps to light the way until it simply becomes too dark to continue.
After 170 odd clicks, we have the energy, but it looks a little too dangerous. There's a lot of tunnels, and we can do it tomorrow because it's all downhill. So we're going to come back to the Coquihalla summit and continue on. Hopefully with the assistance of our
Superman, superhuman fill-in, Sammy. He just jumped out of the van onto his bike when Nancy couldn't continue. And with no train, yeah, we had 4 bikes.
Well, this is the thing. If she wants to make her appointments tomorrow, she's got to seriously consider not riding tomorrow.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like,
time-wise?
she wants to be martyr her knee and ride into victory, but I mean, what's that really going to accomplish? We've got to go 200 kilometers on a wonky knee.
Yeah.
We lost that hour today because of that knee.
The proof is in the pudding. We'll see what happens tomorrow. I think her knee is going to be so tender that she won't get up a hill. Right?
I don't know. I don't even know what to think anymore.
I don't know what to think.
You know, I'm.
All I know is that I went like this, and she like.
All I know is if you went like this to me, I could go.
And all I know is it was a struggle to get her to go to the hospital and have it professionally looked at. And once it got professionally looked at, it was, just stay off it for a day and you'll be all right.
Jeez. But that's what happened last time we did our test run to Banff. Was that, you know, you should take a look at it, but you know, it's fine, take some painkillers. So why today?
I feel a little dirty. Just something that doesn't add up. Just something that all day long I've been thinking about the exact same words that you said, and it just doesn't add up.
Well, today was the 210 kilometers. Today was the hardest day.
We promised Nancy we would get her to Vancouver, you know, as a team. The whole team concept doesn't really work with Nancy, but we're still valiantly trying to get her to Vancouver.
It's her.
Now we've got 200 kilometers to do, and we haven't done that yet. So you can draw your own conclusions. You know, can we do this with Nancy tomorrow? I don't think so.
And make
Over
it
the
on
next
time?
couple of days? Yeah, sure.
Sure.
With Sam? Yeah, we could do it with Sam. I mean, then that's not. I'm not pulling or
I mean, she's got
slighting Nancy at all. It's the facts.
She's got a knee, you know, and she's got a chief tricky knee, you know, and it's always been an issue. And you know, good on her for pushing through and pushing through and pushing through, and you know, I guess we'll see tomorrow.
I can almost feel the whiskey breaking on my mind. Check me out, I'm feeling right. I feel my home tonight. It's showtime in the city.
Day 6 ends at a small motel in Hope. Pulley sings one of his own songs as Tink taps out the beat on a beer bottle. Everyone is tired, isolated in their own thoughts and trying to come to terms with the events of the day. They have made their destination, but there are lingering questions and doubts. Nancy has accused the boys, as she calls them, of mutiny. The boys seem suspicious of Nancy's injury. Almost at the last minute, no one knows for sure what tomorrow will bring.
Well, it's showtime in the city, and I can't wait to join the band.
The reason that I'm here as far as the ride goes is Nancy's got a tough knee, and she needs to get on the road a bit earlier. She recognizes that it's going to be a tough day, and she wants to get out there, and she wants to ride. She wants to ride bad. It was a hard day yesterday for her not being able to ride, I think. So.
Thanks for the early start, guys. I think we came to a good compromise last night. And I figured, you know what, it's all downhill. Knee's feeling great. It was feeling awesome last night. I was icing it all afternoon, 10 minutes on, 5 minutes off. So I really wanted to hop on the bike. Like, that was just killing me yesterday. And so I said, well, we'll get up early and do it. And the boys, the great thing about having 3 completely different people is sometimes people may consider it headbutting. I don't think so. You have 3 different perspectives. And they're very blunt, they're very honest, and it's completely different from the people I'm used to, you know, like my work colleagues and my friends. So it's an interesting perspective, and they told me, and this is the best thing in the world you can ever tell me because it'll just kill me. that there's no way I can make the finish line on time with this knee, that I will just slow them down, so I probably shouldn't ride at all today. So that's okay. They're being honest. It was not a cruel statement. They were being honest. And I said, well, I'll get up at 5:30 and I'll start the ride. And Brian's like, actually, this could be an idea if Nancy really wants to. And he's like, I really think that she needs to actually finish this ride. She's worked 8 months for it, for goodness sakes, and she can do it. So he offered to drive me up at the starting point by 5:30, and the boys want to sleep until 7:30. And well, so they're going to sleep until about 6:30, start at 7:30, excuse me, and they're going to catch up with me. But what's on the table now is, for sure, by the time like I get around Chilliwack or Langley, if the boys haven't caught up to me yet, I'll hang back and I'll wait for them. But because we want to do this as a team, of course, but if I get into Vancouver at 4:30 today after the 200 kilometers that I'm about to do, well, I've got a lot of it down already, Brad's going to be flabbergasted, and I've never actually seen what flabbergasted looks like, so I've been told now 7 times, separate times during this whole endeavor, that I wouldn't be able to do something. And that's the best thing in the world you could ever tell me, because I will so prove you wrong. This kind of shows that everything that you plan never actually works out the way you plan it, but you know what? I honestly think with all the comedy of errors that have happened this morning, spilling the tea on my lap and the truck breaking down and not being able to find this and my iPod dying at the last minute, which music is very important, and I think that means it's going to be a great afternoon. All right, we'll see you guys.
We'll be following.
I think she's risking for a cause she believes in, right? And she wants to, and I think for her it's an important thing to face her difficulties. I was saying to everybody last night, I said we've all reached a point here in the last 24 hours last night, where we've all had to face conquering something or recognizing our humanness and our need to stop and say help. There's a hill just before hope, ironically, and